And renting in Lagos is a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare. It took us like 6 months to secure a place to rent. It's like applying for a job that everybody wants. It's just crazy. Now, in comparison to Accra, I've never had an issue finding a place to rent, except for like maybe being picky about what place I want to choose. Also, socially, like when it comes to children, I think Ghana was more friendly for children.
This gorgeous lady have lived in Ghana and also lived in Nigeria for a couple of years and sharing her honest experience and review about the both countries. Stay tuned and enjoy the video, and don't forget to also like the video.
My name is Rochelle, for those of you who don't already know me. So quick backstory, I am a Jamaican Canadian who moved to Africa, which is kind of crazy. And I've been here for approximately 5 years-ish. I'm going to give you guys a comparison because I lived in Ghana previously and I'm now living in Lagos. So I wanted to compare the two and give you all my thoughts on what living in either country has been like for me personally. Okay? So it's funny because I feel like Ghana and Nigeria have this like ongoing feud or something. So as similar as they are, there are also a lot of differences, you know? So I hope I don't add fuel to the fire today. So as I mentioned before, I moved to Ghana approximately 5 years ago, and I spent about 4 years there, give or take. While I was there, I started a burger restaurant with my partner. And the idea was to also start one here in Nigeria. And it's coming. These are in no particular order. I just kind of listed a few things that I thought I could touch on. The overall environment. So I have to say a major thing as well. I'm comparing the two major cities, I guess. So Accra is the capital of Ghana. And Abuja is the capital here. But Lagos is like the popular city central that most people are familiar with. And then within Lagos, you have the islands. So I live on the islands. So it's islands versus the mainland. And they're pretty different places to live, you know? So my experience has only been on the islands. I've only lived here. So I know the mainland is different. I haven't experienced that. So when I'm referring to Lagos, I'm referring to the islands. And when I refer to Ghana, I'm referring to Accra, the main city. Environment-wise, the islands is quite damp, okay? From what I understand, it was a swamp converted into a livable, you know, city, but it was a swamp. So it's quite dampy. And in my house, you know, if the AC is not running for a couple days or something like that, you will see the effects of the damp. The walls will peel, you know, things will get moldy. So that's annoying. In Ghana, I did not have that problem. And maybe in Accra, you might have that issue if you're close to the water. I did not live close to the water, so I never experienced that. Also, for example, you're going to have bumpy roads in Ghana and Nigeria. Where I live, the roads be rocky out here. I live a little bit outside of the like center of the city, just a little bit, like 10 minutes out. But over here, it's a little bit roughy, a little bit rocky. So of course, there are areas with nicer paved roads and smooth roads. But I'll say they're tied for good roads, bad roads. I don't think either or has less or more, you know, worse roads than each other. So I'll say that. One thing that I really appreciate about Ghana versus Nigeria is the electricity. In Ghana, it's called ECG. In Accra, it's NEPA. So NEPA is not provided consistently at all. It goes off every single day, whereas in Accra, you know, the electricity is constant, and there would be times where there wouldn't be any electricity, but it's not as bad as here. So if you're going to live in Lagos, you have to have a generator. I lived in Accra without a generator. I didn't have a generator. So when the electricity went out, okay, we would just be in the dark, but that wasn't that often. Like it was not that often. But you cannot survive without a generator of some sort here because NEPA, it just comes whenever it wants and goes whenever it wants. They do have like tiers of electricity provision. So depending on where you live, there will be more NEPA. There's like A, B, C, or D. I think I'm on B, like Schedule B, they call it. So I do get NEPA, a couple times a week. But yeah, it's just not enough. You need to have a generator or you need to have a solar system or a battery system to survive. So that's frustrating. Also, where I live, I don't know if it's the whole island, guys. Chime in here in the comment section, but the water is pretty crazy. So most estates have like a water treatment thing to provide water to the estate. Yeah, but the water is pretty bad. So at one point in my estate, the water filter broke or something, and the water was like stinky. It was stinky, guys. I didn't even want to tell people because it was just so horrific that the estate didn't have like clean water. And it was like that for like a week. And I was bathing with sachet water, like boiling water. And even now that the water filter has been replaced, the water is still, it's not the cutest. It's not the cutest. So those are things you may have to deal with in comparison to Ghana. I've absolutely never had a water issue in Ghana. The water has never been smelly or looked dirty or anything like that. That's just my experience, guys. I'm not putting down the whole country. I'm just telling you what I have been through personally. Okay, guys? So calm down. Yes, but I have heard, I don't know if it's the islands in general that has like a really big water issue, like water sanitation issue. Or I don't know if it's the whole of Lagos. I don't know if the mainland also experiences this with water, but that's been my experience. So, yeah. So overall, if I compare Ghana to Nigeria as well, Nigeria gives me like a wannabe New York of tall buildings, And I say wannabe because there's no electricity, or not no electricity, but, it can be a little up and down. But Ghana, in comparison, Ghana gives me island vibes. It gives me like Jamaica vibes. That's how it feels to be there. I find there's more greenery in Ghana. And of course, the population in Ghana and Nigeria is very, very different. Millions more people here in Nigeria than Ghana. So, naturally, it's going to be a little bit quieter in Ghana, which I did enjoy that quiet, that tranquility. It was very peaceful, and I think that's why people actually do love Ghana so much as well, because it is like an island vibe. It's relaxing, it's chill, Whereas Nigeria is very fast paced. There's a lot of people. There's a lot going on, which is also something I really love about Nigeria in comparison to Ghana. But an increased population is going to mean an increased level of activity in town, right? So it's like louder here in Nigeria, in Lagos anyway. That's what I was saying. It's like New York. New York is very kind of loud, like all around. Like you can hear people hustling, bustling, and you can hear cars beeping. That's how Nigeria is.
She has spoken so well about her experience she had in both countries. When it comes to Ghana and Nigeria population is more than Ghana population. So there's a lot of activities always going on in Nigeria. There's people everywhere. If you are not that strong, please, it's not for the weak. Not in a negative way per se, but there's a lot of population in the country. But when it comes to Ghana is a little bit laid back. There's not more people, it's not like compared to Nigeria. And she also shared her experience she had renting accommodation in Ghana and also in Nigeria.
Next point is renting. So I'm going to talk about renting because that's my experience. I've never purchased here or there, so I'm just going to tell you what I've been through. And renting in Lagos is a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare. It took us like 6 months to secure a place to rent. It's like applying for a job that everybody wants. And then the landlord or the property manager, they don't even like get back to you to let you know if you've won the place. Like, it's like a lottery, guys, and it's just like crazy. Even my friend, she's renting a place right now, and a funny example is she had like, for some reason here, you need to have a man on your thing. If you're just a woman, who cares if you have a job or you're a billionaire? You have to have a man on your application. Even this application thing is crazy. Like, you have to fill out this long application like you're really applying for a job. And it's just crazy. Now, in comparison to Accra, I've never had an issue finding a place to rent, except for like maybe being picky about what place I want to choose. Also, there's no form to fill out. You tell them you want the place and you give them the money. And that's pretty much it. They'll give you a lease agreement, but yeah, that's all. Also, there's absolutely no way, almost pretty much, yeah, no way. No one's going to accept less than a 12-month commitment. In Ghana, I've gotten away so many times with 6 months. I've never paid a year upfront in my life. I've always paid 6 months, and it's been acceptable. So that's also, a challenge coming here to Lagos, finding somewhere to live. Okay, so social life. I think both countries are pretty big on like social life, like getting together, hanging out, going out. Like, it's a lot more social in Ghana and Nigeria in comparison to Canada. You know what I mean? That's what I feel anyway, in my experience. There's a lot more going on in Lagos, like all the time. So it's like it's always December. Okay, not December, because December is extremely busy, but there's always something going on, like, Whereas Ghana, I think kind of like once December's over, the town is pretty quiet. Like, nothing else is really going on. So that is a big difference. Like, here, there's always something that you can get into, something to do, something that you can be a part of. So it's pretty busy here and it's very active, which I really, really appreciate. Ghana's a bit more sleepy. It's a bit more slow. Yeah, after the Christmas rush, you can just, hibernate for the rest of the year until next year. That's what I perceive anyway. So I think that's good. And that's also great for business, because if you are doing business here, you won't experience too much of a slow period. Whereas in Ghana, even with like the burger restaurant, after January, February, everything was very, very slow, very quiet, So it's good for business here in Lagos, just to have that like constant flow of like activity and human interaction. Yeah. Also socially, like when it comes to children, I think Ghana was more friendly for children. Wherever I lived, my son Jordan could go outside. And when I mean outside, I mean like outside of my compound. Like, he could leave the compound and I was never worried at all. He would ride his bike around the area and I felt safe about that. And there would be other kids that he could play with, other like local children. And they weren't, of course, as privileged as Jordan or us, but they were still able to socialize with Jordan. Like, Jordan could still be their friend and it would make sense still. Whereas here, I wouldn't really let him like ride his bike outside of the compound. And I don't know if it's like maybe just where I live, but I don't think it's likely that he'll find other children that he can be compatible with on a social level to be friends with, like to vibe with. And it's not about being prejudiced or anything like that, but their experiences are so different, it'll be more difficult for him to relate and be friends with certain children. Do you get it? He had friends in Ghana who were not as privileged, but they could still relate to each other. Like they still understood each other, and Jordan enjoyed playing with those kids.
I must say, this lady have a wonderful time living in the both country, and each country have its own crime. They have their negative parts and also have their positive part as well. And this lady have shared a lot of experience she had in the both country. She spoke about the water in Ghana and Nigeria. She spoke about the electricity, accommodation, friendliness, the people, the country. She really have a wonderful time when it comes to the both country. So please, I'm going to be putting the link to a channel in the description. Do me well by also clicking on the channel and also complete the full video over there. Trust me, you're going to enjoy the video. When I see foreigners coming to Africa to share their amazing experience in Ghana and Nigeria, I'm really interested because these two countries are my country. Ghana is my motherland. Nigeria is my fatherland, so I love to see anybody that come from there sharing their warm experience about the both country. But trust me, this lady have really enjoyed the both country and also give his own side of what he think about it. So now, please do me well by also dropping your thoughts on the comment section of what you think, because I want to also know your review. What do you think about the both country? I want to know, have you been to Ghana before? Have you been to Nigeria? Do me well by dropping your comments on the comment section. I would love to see your comment as well. At this point, if you have not liked the video, do me well by also liking the video. Share with a friend who would like to watch this video with you. Comment your thought below on the comment section. And please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, do me well by hitting the subscribe button, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so whenever I upload a new video in the future, you're not going to miss out on my amazing future content. And I will see you in my next video. Bye for now and stay blessed.